guys, welcome back to my channel, Lemonade and Lemons, where we squeeze lemons and sip lemonade. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you are new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And to make sure you stay updated on all the videos that I upload, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Okay guys, as we all know, Tekashi 6ix9ine has pled guilty to 9 felony charges. But before we get into the story, let's just go back just a little bit to see how all of this came about. Now, according to New York Times, back in November, for the last 2 years, the Brooklyn rapper 6ix9ine has used social media to build a larger-than-life reputation as a proud public menace, a self-described supervillain whose mere presence seemed to attract drama and gun violence. That persona was an act, he said, but it put him on a path to hip-hop stardom. To gain even more credibility with his online audience, he partnered a year ago with Brooklyn men the police say are affiliated with the 9 Trey Gangster Blood street gang. Now, 6ix9ine, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, has been arrested on federal racketeering charges along with several of his former business associates. And though Mr. Hernandez, 22, often seemed invincible during his turbulent first year in music, the charges that he participated in narcotics trafficking, shootings, and violent robberies, some of which he live streamed to his massive Instagram following, could spell the end to his career. Now, the arrest also may have saved his life. Days before the men were indicted together, Mr. Hernandez, who had recently tried to split from the gang, was warned by the FBI that his one-time associates may try to kill him, his lawyer said. It was a fittingly dramatic twist for a young artist who at times seemed determined to sabotage his own rise. How Mr. Hernandez went from a lost Brooklyn teen to a viral social media star to an accused violent member of the 9 Trey Bloods is a cautionary tale for hip-hop, particularly as the genre scouts its next stars from the internet. Now, Mr. Hernandez's rapid accent, cataloged daily online, was tailor-made for a new generation of web-savvy fans hooked on non-musical talent and content. The rowdy, scream-along tracks that 6ix9ine pronounced 6ix9ine were more a symptom of his own success than the impetus for his fame. Mr. Hernandez only began rapping after he had achieved a taste of internet notoriety, and he appeared to pursue gang life to bolster his musical endeavors. It was an inflammatory approach in a rap business stuck between an old school of hip-hop in which street cred still mattered and a new wave of artists for whom clout on internet platforms has become a pathway to success. For some rap stars, gang life was an unavoidable means of survival and music offered a way out. Now for Mr. Hernandez, who also goes by the name Tekashi 6ix9ine, it was reversed. Gang affiliations lent authenticity to a rap career rooted more in sensationalism than in biography or in raw talent. For his critics, 6ix9ine represented the worst case scenario of millennial hip-hop, a digital brand built around bravado and violence, with little notion that the act could have real-life repercussions. Now, in the courtroom where Mr. Hernandez has repeatedly appeared since 2015, he has argued that the gangland character of 6ix9ine was just that, an exaggerated artistic act. In reality, Mr. Hernandez said he was Danny, a nice kid from Brooklyn who had struck gold by stoking beef and acting tough. The scumbag persona is just for shock value, he said. His lawyer, Lance Lazaro, has contended that the associates who once lent 6ix9ine muscle and credibility were the real criminals in the picture. On Monday, Mr. Hernandez pleaded not guilty. And this was back in 2018 in November. Now, 6ix9ine had flaunted his street bona fides and Teflon nature in public, often daring rivals to test my gangster, quote unquote, and continued the tough talk that was part of his brand. I'm ready to die and I'm ready to kill, he told Charlemagne the God back in November of 2018 or sometime around there. Still, 6ix9ine had flaunted his street bona fides and Teflon nature in public, often daring rivals to test my gangster, quote unquote, and continued the tough talks that was part of his brand. prosecutors say those words that he told Charlemagne back in 2018, "I'm ready to die and I'm ready to kill," quote unquote, were not an act. In April, they alleged Mr. Hernandez was with Mr. Jordan when the crew committed an armed robbery near Port Authority bus terminal in Manhattan. Prosecutors also said Mr. Hernandez was involved in two shootings in Brooklyn later in the summer. Someone then shot up two of 6ix9ine's music video sets, one in Brooklyn where he was filming with the rapper 50 Cent in August, and another this month in Los Angeles, interrupting a planned shoot with Kanye West and Miss Nicki Minaj. Now, the tension reached a crescendo this fall after Mr. Hernandez's much delayed sentence hearing in the sex crimes case. While ruling that Mr. Hernandez's multiple small-time arrests and various antics over the last year did not violate his plea agreement, the judge instructed the rapper to stay away from known gang members or risk prison. He planned to meet Mr. Grange, the head of his label, for lunch at Felipe in Manhattan to celebrate. When Shotty and others arrived at the restaurant, too, they were rebuffed by Mr. Grange's security. The judge, after all, had just told Mr. Hernandez to keep his distance. But a scuffle ensued, ending with a security guard shooting one of Shotty's associates, who was wounded but survived and was indicted with the group. Shotty later turned himself in to the police and was charged with assault in the incident. After that, the relationship between 6ix9ine and his street mentor deteriorated quickly. In an interview with the Breakfast Club days before his arrest, 6ix9ine said he had fired everyone except Mr. Grange and attributed the split mostly to money. He had booked a national tour but did not feel he was getting his rightful share. He also invoked the July robbery. 6ix9ine was meeting with FBI agents who had picked up on wiretaps that his former crew wanted to super violate, quote unquote, him for his disrespect, an expression authorities took as a threat to the rapper's life, his lawyer said. They offered him round-the-clock protection against Shotty and his associates, but 6ix9ine ended up declining. Now, they all ended up in federal custody, and the prosecutor said that they had obtained a warrant for the same Instagram account that brought Mr. Hernandez to prominence, calling it quite voluminous. Okay, fast forward. Daniel Hernandez, of course, as we know him as Tekashi 6ix9ine, admitted at a federal court hearing in Manhattan on January 23rd to being a member of the 9 Trey Gangster Blood, and said he had helped other gang members rob people at gunpoint. In one case, he said, "I helped members of 9 Trey attempt to kill a rival gang member." Mr. Hernandez added, "I did this to maintain or increase my own standing in 9 Trey." He also said the gang engaged in shooting at people, robbing people, and at times drug trafficking. He also said he apologized to the judge and to anyone who was hurt, to my family, friends, and fans for what I have done and who I have let down. He remained incarcerated and was unclear Friday when he will be sentenced or how his cooperation might affect his prison sentence. At the plea hearing, a prosecutor said that Mr. Hernandez's cooperation was likely to reveal the criminal activities of other people and that he may eventually need to be placed in the witness protection program. My. Now, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he was, as I just read, he was charged back in November along with several other alleged members and associates of the 9 Trey gang on racketeering, conspiracy, and firearm charges, a federal indictment shows. Now, the gang wreaking havoc on New York City, engaging in brazen acts of violence. Jeffrey S. Berman, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, said when charges were announced. In one case last April, prosecutors said the gang's member held up a rival gang member at gunpoint near Times Square. Mr. Hernandez helped to plan and direct the robbery and filmed it from a car. Later that month, the government said a member of the gang shot at a rival inside Barclays Center where Mr. Hernandez was scheduled to perform. Though no one was hit, he later posted a video of himself and co-defendants bragging about the shooting, the prosecutor said. At the time, Lance Lazaro, a lawyer for Mr. Hernandez, pronounced him completely innocent of the charges, portraying him as a victim and noting that the FBI had warned his client of threats made against him. On Friday, Don M. Florio, another of Mr. Hernandez's lawyers, declined to comment on his decision to plead guilty and cooperate, but added that every effort was being made to protect him and his family and his loved ones for their safety. Prosecutors declined to comment on the case. In court last week, Mr. Hernandez pleaded guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, and 8 other charges for which he could face a minimum of 47 years in prison and a maximum sentence of life in prison. Guys, this is really insane. It's ridiculous. I mean, by Tekashi 6ix9ine pleading guilty and all of this, and also agreeing to cooperate in this matter, he has put his own family members in jeopardy, their lives in jeopardy. He has a baby, and his baby's mother spoke out to TMZ, and let's take a look at that.
My reaction initially, I just think it's disappointing.
How come?
Cause I expected way more out of the situation. It's just sad, honestly, to see all these men dragged into something that's really ugly. I've been with him 7 years, and the fame that he's had within a year, the success is just sad to see how it's going now. It's just disappointing and it's sad.
Do you feel that you and your daughter are at risk?
In a sense, yeah, absolutely. He did what he did. He made his bed. Now he has to lie in it. But he didn't think of how it's going to affect others. He's only thinking about himself in the situation. So, I mean, I'm left to pick up the pieces of whatever mess he's made, which is and has always been a thing.
If he came back to you and said he wants a relationship with his daughter, how would you feel about that?
I don't feel like he's in the space right now. Until I feel like he's in a space in life and a solid situation, I can't feel comfortable allowing him to bring whatever he has with him into my daughter's life. That my job is to protect my daughter at all costs, and even if that means him.
This is really sad. This is truly sad, guys. I mean, tell me what you think about this by commenting below. I just find this just a very strange and interesting story. As we know, Tekashi 6ix9ine, I'm really not familiar with his music at all. I'm just covering the sources and, you know, bringing you the content. But it's just sad because this is a young guy. He's a young guy. As I just read to you, he received his notoriety through Instagram, and through Instagram he became a rapper just to turn around to become a gangster. That does not make sense at all, and it shows you where we are losing our youth. Instead of coming up out of the hood, he remains in the hood. We're losing him. Instead of moving his family from the hood, he chooses to stay in the hood, to be a gangster. Why not take the money that you're making? Because this is a signed artist, guys. He's a signed artist. He's making millions. Why not take the money that you're making and all of those people who are out there robbing and stealing, who you claim to be doing it with, they're robbing and stealing for $1. Instead of doing that with them, or worried about the next rival gang member, how about you be that one particular person that's needed to say, hey, come on, guys, work for me. Let's squash all of this. It's no need to go out there and rob nobody, shoot nobody. Let's squash all of this. How about you come and work for me? Be my assistant. Be my bodyguard. Come work for me. Let's get out of all of this. How about you, Tekashi 6ix9ine, be that person to change another person's life? Why remain in a negative situation? I'm not understanding it at all. And then you have children. Well, at least one baby that I know of. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too familiar with him, guys. I only recognize him from his rainbow colored hair, to be honest with you. I don't know nothing about his music. I don't think I've even heard one song, but my heart goes out to the baby's mom and the child, because now her life is in jeopardy. And according to sources, these people, Treyway, they don't play. They don't play. So this guy, while he's safe behind bars in the witness protection program, his baby's mother has to be out here on the streets looking over her shoulder every other second. This is ridiculous, guys. Like I said, go ahead and comment below and let me know what you think about all of this. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.